Hey. Um, so I just want to talk about fights and defending yourself in jail. So I remember the story I was talking about SP. Oh my god. Alright, let's see. Let me just go fresh. No bullet points, nothing, just straight memory. Fights and how to defend yourself in jail. So I'm not a fighter. Uh, but in jail, I was put into positions where you have to stand up for yourself, because if you don't, and when people see that, they're gonna start clowning on you. I never really have trouble with anyone in jail because I was like facing a lot of time. A lot of people felt sorry for me, and some people like me. But there's always gonna be someone that, like, I don't know, just want to pick on you to look good for others or whatever. Um, so my first possible interaction, the first fight, not fight, but I remember very early in Rikers. So I had an episode. I wasn't like out of the episode yet, and I remember I was on the phone and some guy said something. I'm not sure exactly what he said, but I remember what I said to him. And I was like, yo, you see that right here? You see? I bit myself so hard, my tooth fell out. I was like, what do you think I'm going to do to you when you piss me off? And then he walked away. Yeah, so that was my first interaction. And then 3 years of Rikers, there's freaking fights almost every day. I will, as I jog my memory, I'm gonna start cataloging all these fights throughout all the different dorms, and then pull in bullet points and freestyle for you for another video of just fights. But this is just not fresh memory. These are memories of me and the people that bothered me. And so the other day, I spoke about SP. So SP, his street name is SP. His real name is like Sam something. So this guy, he's like in his early 20s or mid 20s. Black guy, average height, 5'9", maybe 5'10", roughly around my height. And then he's young, black, he's built, and he's a boxer. And he would always like train in the dorm area. So the dorm has 3 rows of beds, and in the back, not all dorms in the back has room, but this one has room. So him and this other guy, they're like both fit. They would always train without the shirts, and you can see the definition in the chest, and they got abs, always fighting. And then this guy, he was cool with me at first, but then eventually he started clowning on me because about the phone. At Rikers, you get free phone call, a free 15 minutes for every 2 hours. You get free. So this was the time I was depressed. I was fucking facing mad time. So a lot of times I was just in bed, just laying there, not really motivated to be in the game room, playing cards with people, talking to people, bullshit, or always on the phone, talking to their family, girlfriend, kids. So he would ask me for phone calls here and there, and eventually it became a habit. And then and I was always in bed. I'm like, fuck, I got bed, fucking pull out my shoes, walk, type in my PIN, and then for you to get your free. Eventually I was like, yo, fuck all this, I don't want to do it. You do a few favors and it becomes a habit, right? And then I guess he didn't like that, right? So he eventually started clowning on me, and I'm like, okay, whatever, not real big deal. Then And he really pissed me off. And I was like, you know what? I want to like put an end to this. So I'm like, fuck, man, I can't even fight this guy. He's a fucking boxer. I'm definitely gonna lose. So in jail, like moral and ethics is out the door because a win is a win, right? So me, I'm not like fucking top tier shape, and also I'm not like fucking karate champ. not karate, but you know, I'm not a fighter. So I'm like, fuck, man. So I was like, alright. Tactics. So you study your opponent, find out their weaknesses. So this guy's always at the phone, right? And usually when people are on the phone, you know, they're standing. But this guy is like, the phone's here, right, on the wall. And then he will be like, you know, lovey-dovey. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. Use that as a tactic. You gotta attack him when he's not looking, using physics. So physics 101, force equals mass times acceleration. So as a skater, you know, I don't want to talk. Anyways, so an elbow strike carries a lot of energy, right? And then an elbow strike, and while you're moving, it like magnifies the intensity of the strike. So this guy's always at the phone. Perfect. You attack him. Whatever. I don't have to be big and tall. Just use basic physics. You'll knock him out. But that never came to fruition. But that's a good thing. I mean, morally thinking about it, it's unethical, right? You know, you're attacking someone at a disadvantage. It could be seen as cowardly, whatever, man. But in jail, fuck, man, a win is a win. Like I said, I'm not a fighter. It didn't come to that because my neighbor, it was Nick. So SP also disliked Nick for some reason. I don't know, man. I just remember I was in bed. Nick was next to me. SP comes and kicks his bed. Kick. And then Nick is like, what do you want? And SP's like, yo, you gotta go. I don't know. He's like, pack up. So Nick sits up, right? And then he's like, yo, you gotta go. And then Nick is like, okay. So Nick's like, let me put on my shoes. So the SP's like, yeah. Turns around, walks away. I think whether Nick set him up to do that, I don't know. But obviously Nick took that as an advantage to attack. So as Nick's like, oh, slowly putting on his shoes. Once he put on his shoes, he turns and he looks. Guy's walking away. Perfect. Nick jumps, grabs him, got him in a headlock. And both of them were on the floor. They were struggling for a little bit. And eventually, SP got choked out. So, I don't know. I was just watching. I was like, nice. Because Nick is like, at a disadvantage, right? Because Nick is like skinny. Doesn't look like a fighter. But Nick was, you know, he used his mind and set the fucking guy up, right? Yeah, man. I'm not saying it's right, but you don't want to get clowned on in jail. So sometimes you're like forced to fight or stand up for yourself. Anyways. So I didn't get to use physics on Mr. Boxer. Alright, so I think I got bounced around, but eventually this guy, someone was clowning on me. I'm not sure why. I remember, so it was like commissary, grocery shopping, and usually I'm always like in bed, and I guess this commissary was early, and then, you know, I'm usually in bed, and everyone wakes up early, brush their teeth, right? So they announce commissary, so my ass fucking gets up, and we line up outside before we head to the grocery store. And then this guy, Spanish guy, I don't know his name. He's like, ooh, because I was standing, and he's like, ooh, stinky. And I was like, oh, fuck, man, I just woke up. What do you? And also, you don't have time to fucking, you know, at least for me, when they announce it, you don't have time to like, yo, let me brush my teeth real quick, get online, go grocery shopping. So, and then the next time we also went grocery shopping, so it's once a week. So next week, I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I'm that guy that he makes fun of in front of everyone to make him look good, and I'm the sucker, right? And then he says some shit like, "Oh, because I'm Asian, right? So all the Spanish people are called Mexico. If you're Russian, everyone call you Russia. Black is the N word, niggas." Anyways, and for Asians, we're either called China or Chinaman, right? And I've always hated that word, Chinaman. Anyways, so this guy, we were standing in line, and he like clowns on me in front of everyone. I'm not sure what he said, but like, I just remember, was it like Marvel or something? Like Spider-Man? It's like Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And then this guy clowns on me, so I'm Asian. It's like Chinaman, Chinaman. It's funny, right? I kind of find it clever, I guess. Anyways, so after grocery shopping, whatever. And then that day, the same day, at night, I was using the bathroom. And in the bathroom, there's like 4, maybe 5 stalls. So the most forward stall, that's what I was using. And then so there's 4 or 5. And then the last one's at the corner with the wall. So I'm there peeing. And then he comes in. And then he goes to the last stall. And he's like hiding in the corner. And I saw that. I was like, this motherfucker. I mean, I didn't care. I was just like, you know, like peeing, whatever. And I saw that. And I was like, looking around. I was like, oh shit, no one's here. Perfect. Remember Physics 101, force equals mass times acceleration? So he was, you know, by the wall. Looked around, I was like, ooh. Boom! So, so my tactics that day with the guy at the phone. Anyway, so I smacked him so hard, like his head, boom, it hits the wall. And then he's on the floor. And then, you know, he's not zipped, right? So he's like exposed. He's like, yo, what's up, man? I was like, yo, what do you mean, what's up? And then he's like, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. I was like, all right, man. That was it. That was my dealing with, I don't want to say bully, but the thing is, like, you do have to stand up for yourself. Because if not, you're just gonna be a clown. And you don't want to be a clown in jail. They can extort you, take your shit, make you do laundry. I don't know, man. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not a tough guy. It's just, I don't know, man. But that felt good though. I don't know, man. Anyways, so I'm gonna try to fucking, I have a little flashback. Try to like load up on bullet points. Let's see, try to recall all the best fights. Because it was roughly a fight every day for 365 days times 3, and that's roughly 1,000 plus. But out of all, there's a lot of bullshit fights and some memorable ones. I'm gonna try to fill out my fucking word with bullet points. But yeah, man, not a tough guy. I don't go looking for trouble, but You do have to stand up for yourself, man. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Fucking fights, man. So I got into jujitsu. That's very useful, and I noticed that 90% of the fights always end up on the floor. But then the time frame, the fights usually last about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and then like not the squad, but the CO catches on, got this the pepper ready, and the fight ends. There's nothing deadly in the fights, just basic. Like no one really ends up in the hospital, but can't remember any like super dangerous fights. I don't know. I gotta really sit down. It's been so many years. It's been from 2017 to 2020. It's 2025. This is at least 5 to 8 years ago. So I gotta sit down, write all this shit down. Anyways, I'm blabbing fuck out of here later.